There's a scene at the end of Batman Begins where Batman is on a rooftop with Commissioner Gordon. And during that scene, they have a conversation about escalation. And the example that Gordon uses is that if you wear body armor, the criminals will start using armor-piercing rounds. And the reason he brings this up is because Batman changed the game. And if Batman changes the game, the criminals are likely to respond in an equal way. And this is the idea behind escalation. But there's one problem with the escalation theory, is that at a certain point, things will get so crazy that you cannot possibly escalate to match. And in the context of a Batman movie, that's Batman being defeated by a villain. Possibly the Joker. What's up guys, it's the Actual Justice Warrior here, and today we're talking about Riley J. Dennis. So the reason I opened this video with talk of escalation is because in my last video about Riley, I basically pretended to kill myself because the idea was that RJ was so stupid that it would literally cause me to want to take my own life. Like, listening to RJ is fucking damaging to your brain. And that was in response to a video where RJ pretended to be in favor of free speech. And if you guys have ever watched Riley, Riley is not an advocate for free speech. It's just a fact. Riley believes that certain words are violence. So my response was to jokingly pretend to kill myself. The problem is that Riley has now made an even dumber video than that. And I don't know what the fuck to do. Like, do I pretend to hang myself? Do I pretend to shoot myself with 2 fake guns? Like, out of fucking ideas here. Like, I can't escalate. You won, Riley. You're dumber than I thought you were. Now, you might be confused and be wondering what the hell I'm talking about. Well, basically, a few months back, Riley made a video about how your dating preferences, the things that you find attractive, are discriminatory.
Would you date a trans person, honestly? If you said no, I'm sorry, but that's pretty discriminatory. Pretty discriminatory.
Wrong.
But there was one piece of that video that was like extra ridiculous. And it was the idea that if you don't sleep with a trans person, or if you don't find the idea of sleeping with a trans person appealing, then you are a bigot.
I think the main concern that people have in regards to dating a trans person is that they won't have the genitals that they expect. And if you were to say that you're only attracted to people with vaginas or people with penises, it really feels like you're reducing people just to their genitals. You're kind of objectifying them, but you're thinking of them more as genitals than objects. So I guess you're kind of genitalifying them?
Fucking Jesus Christ, RJ has such cringy comedy. So RJ got a massive amount of backlash from that. And instead of saying, hey, maybe I was wrong, Riley decided it would be a good idea to make a video essentially doubling down on the idea. And that's what we're going to talk about today.
Recently on the internet, there's been a lot of discussion around genital preferences and transphobia.
Wrong.
In this video, I'm going to use the word cissexism instead of transphobia, but they're really similar words.
I swear to fucking God, like, how do you do this? Like, how does your brain work this way? Seriously, you are called out on some bullshit. And when redefining words to fucking help your argument isn't good enough, you then go and make up a new buzzword. Cissexism? Like, seriously? Come on, RJ. Like, this is just a way to say, hey, look, if you are cisgender, which means you identify with the gender that matches your biological sex.
Some people are making the argument that it's not cissexist at all to only be attracted to people with one kind of genitals. For example, these people might argue that being attracted to only women with vaginas in no way negatively affects trans people.
Look, I'm sorry, but yes, the genitalia does matter. You can find a trans person physically attractive, and then when they reveal that they have the genitals that you don't want, or the genitals that you don't prefer, you can feel uncomfortable and decide you don't want to do this. And you're not a bigot for that. Like, the idea that if you're a man and you're not interested in blowing a trans woman, that somehow makes you a bigot is fucking ridiculous. And like, let's get to the real reason why Riley's making this video. RJ identifies as a woman. And because Riley's attracted to women, RJ identifies as a lesbian. And you know what? I'm a fucking super accepting guy. Even though it's clearly obvious that all you did was grow your hair out, which is nice, by the way. Put on some fucking stupid ass eyeliner, put on some like lip balm or fucking lip gloss, and wear a women's shirt. You know what? I'm fucking on board and I will support you. If you believe that you are a woman,
Wrong.
then fine. You're a woman.
Wrong.
And you know what? You're a lesbian.
Wrong.
But here's the thing. Your female partners, not lesbians. They're at least bi, and I'm willing to bet that they're straight. And you know how I know that? Because RJ is tall, skinny, has long hair, and looks fucking like a dude. And you know what? There are plenty of women that are attracted to RJ's like profile. And you know what all those women have in common? They're straight. Or they're bi. The fact is that you fit within the parameters of a traditionally attractive dude. Now you identify as a woman and I'll call you fucking she, her, whatever the fuck you want me to call you. Because I really don't give a fuck. I mean, outside of the fact that you literally are pushing me towards suicide because you're so fucking stupid, like, you have no impact on my life. You see, where it becomes a problem or things get problematic is when you start telling lesbians that they have to be attracted to you.
My language sounds a lot like a dude who tried to turn them straight, or like conversion therapy.
Or that they are bigots for not being attracted to you or not being open to that set of genitalia. Like, I'm sorry, there are some lesbians that are just uncomfortable around penises. They're not bigots, they're fucking lesbians. It kind of goes with the territory. There are some lesbians that have no issues with penises, but they still might not want them in them because they are fucking lesbians. And for the vast majority of women, they do not have penises. You, I'm sure, have no problem finding women, but you are finding straight women. And that's totally fine. You should be totally cool with that. As long as you really believe that you're a woman in your mind, then you're still a lesbian.
Wrong.
However, the women that sleep with you are bi or straight. And you do not have the right to tell women that are lesbians and don't find traditionally male features, traditionally male secondary sex characteristics, and traditionally male primary sex characteristics appealing that there's something wrong with them. The irony of this is that feminists like RJ talk about how we live in this perpetual rape culture. I don't know about you, but I've met a ton of women that have had no interest in having sex with me. And you know what I do when a woman doesn't want to have sex with me? I move on. I go about my day. I go grocery shopping. Grab some fucking food, make myself something to eat, go to sleep, wake up, watch YouTube, get angry at the internet, but I don't fucking bother her. I don't construct this narrative that the people who aren't attracted to me or the people who rejected me fucking from the jump are bigots. And yes, that is what RJ's doing. I believe in consent. And what consent means is that two parties must enter into an agreement on a voluntary basis. RJ, you claim to be a proponent of consent, but when confronted with people not granting you consent, you call them bigots and you want to shame them. I literally cannot think of anything that's more quote-unquote rape culture-y than fucking that. I don't do that. I got a move on mindset. If you don't want to be with me for any fucking reason, it rarely bothers me. And even in the instances where it does bother me, that's my problem, not society's problem, not that person's problem. I have no authority, and nobody has any authority to guilt another person into sex.
My language sounds a lot like a dude who tried to turn them straight, or like conversion therapy.
So whether you frame it as trying to get people to unlearn their biases or whatever the fuck way you want to put it, what you're doing is shaming people for not giving consent. You're not a transphobic and you're not cis-sexist for not wanting to sleep with a transgender person. And if you're ever in a situation where you feel uncomfortable, you should feel free to leave at any time. The only thing I'll add is that if you're not attracted to somebody, don't walk up to them and tell them that they're ugly. But if you're in a situation where you have to be honest with them, try to be honest in the politest way possible. Unlike Riley, I don't believe that hurting somebody's feelings makes you a bigot, but going out of your way to hurt somebody's feelings kind of makes you a dick. Anyway, those are my thoughts on this RJ nonsense. Let me know what you think in the comments. This has been the Actual Justice Warrior. Until next time.